Hi, you guys. This is Mrs. Boland with your Unit 1 review for Algebra 1. So first, we're going to start with the warm-up. This is just a review of solving equations. So remember, we start by putting where the equation is balanced, what it's exactly equal on one side and the other. So we always start by getting rid of whatever is being added or subtracted on the side with the x. Usually, not always. There are some times that there's like a fraction or something, you wouldn't do that. Okay, so minus 6 on both sides is the opposite of plus 6. So those are inverse operations and they cancel each other out. So if I have 14 negatives and 6 negatives, that's 20 negatives altogether. And then I would divide by 6 on both sides. And so we get x is equal to negative 3 and 2/6, which is 1/3. Question number 2. So that's right. Always makes me nervous when I get a fraction at the end. It makes me think I did it wrong. Okay, question number 2, I'm going to subtract the 3. So I get 5x is equal to negative 10, and I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So I get x is equal to negative 2. Remember, you should be trying the problems first, pause it, and then when you have your answer, hit play and see if your solution's correct. So this one, if I have 7 negatives and 7 negatives, that is 14 negatives all together. You could think about if it's negative 7 degrees outside and the temperature goes down by 7 degrees, it's going to be negative 14, super chilly outside. Okay, the next one, if we have 4 negatives and 2 positives, 2 of those will cancel and I will have 2 negatives left over. Okay, so now our practice problems. Problem number 1, we're going to start with some one-step equations. So we are going to do the opposite of minus 6, which is add 6 on both sides. So we get x is equal to 21. Question number 2, there's the m. We say what's happening to it. It has a plus 3, so we do the opposite, which is minus 3 on both sides. So we get m is equal to negative 11. Question number 3. This means multiply by 4, so we're going to do the opposite of multiply by 4, which is divide by 4. So we get n is equal to negative 40, because 4 goes into 16 4 times and into 0, 0. Question number 4. This means y divided by 3. The opposite would be times by 3 on both sides. So we get y is equal to 30. Okay, question number 5. We have a two-step equation. So you can see that this n is being multiplied by 3, and then 5 is added at the end. So anytime we're doing an equation, we want to kind of do the steps backwards. So I'm going to do subtract by 5 on both sides. So I have 3n is equal to 30. And then I'm going to divide by the 3 on both sides. So I get n is equal to 10. Question number 6, before I start, I want to try to combine any like terms. So I have a plus 2x, I have a minus 2x, and those actually cancel each other out. So there'd be 0 x's left. So all we have left is 5 equals 5. So remember that whenever all of the x's are canceled, you look at what's left, and if it's true, you would say there are infinitely many solutions. If what was left was false, like 5 equals 7 or something, you would say there's no solutions. There's no value of x you could ever plug in that's going to make 5 equal to 7. Okay, so anytime all of the x's cancel out, you just see, is it true what's left over or is it false? Right, those ones are gone. Okay, question number 7. Again, we're going to combine like terms. So I see I have 3x and 7x, and that makes 10 x's. And then I have a plus 9 and a take away 2. So that's equal to a positive 7, because 9 take away 2 is 7. And then I just copy the 47. I'm going to take away the 7 on both sides. So I have 10x is equal to 40. I'm going to divide by 10 on both sides, so I have x is equal to 4. Question number 8. There are a few ways to do this problem. I kind of would like to just multiply by 2 and get rid of the fraction before we start, because remember, this just means divide by 2. And so if I times by 2 on both sides, when I distribute it here, those are going to cancel, and I'm just going to get 1x. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times 7 is 14. You could also have just minus the 1/2 x and got 4.5x and just used a decimal. That would be fine as well. Whatever you're going to do, it's a good idea to get the x's all together. So we have 10x's, take away 1x would be 9x's. And then get rid of the 14 on this side by using an inverse operation. So up here we have negative 18 is equal to 9x, and then just divide by the 9 on both sides. So get negative 2. Okay, question number 9. Oh, sorry if you couldn't see that. Question number 9, same thing. I'm always look for the smaller variable. So 3 is smaller than 5, so that's the one that I want to cancel out with the inverse. So the opposite of plus 3 would be subtract 3. So I have 5 take away 3 would be 2. And remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side to keep it balanced. And then we're just going to subtract the 7. And then we have 2t is equal to negative 16, which I'm going to write up here. And then we're going to divide by 2 on both sides, so t is equal to negative 8. Question number 10, we're going to distribute first. And so I have negative 2x plus 8, because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, equals 7x minus 28. And so I'm going to add the 2x on both sides because I like to move whichever one is smaller. Some people like to keep everything on the left. I like to just move whichever one is smaller. That way everything stays positive. And so we have 8 is equal to 9x minus 28. And then I add 28 on both sides. Excuse me. So we get 36 is equal to 9x. And then when we divide by the 9, we get x is equal to 4. All right, question number 11. There's a fraction, so just skip it. Just kidding. No skipping. Okay. Excuse me. So what you do whenever there's a fraction, that just means divide by. So I have my students do the division first. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Then you can just distribute the multiplication like normal. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 24 and positive 12. Remember, we're just multiplying everything across. Okay, then we're going to combine like terms. So I'm going to add the smaller one, even though 24 is a bigger number, because it's negative, that gives it a smaller value. So plus 24x on both sides. So I have 2 plus 20x because 4 of them would be taken away. So there'd be 20 left. And then equals 12 minus the 2. So 20x equals 10. Divide by 20 on both sides. So x equals 1/2 or 0.5. Okay, question number 12. It says, during summer, you work 30 hours per week at a gas station and earn $8.75 per hour. So 30 hours, and we make $8.75 per hour. Okay, and you also work as a landscaper for $11 per hour, and you can work as many hours as you want. You want to earn a total of $400 per week. How many hours must you work as a landscaper? Well, we're going to do 30. I'm getting my calculator out. Okay, so 30 times 8.75. I just don't want to make any mistakes in the video because it seems like I always do. 262.5 plus 11x equals 400 minus the 262.5. So we get 11x is equal to 137.50. And we're going to divide by 11 on both sides. So, oops, divided by 11. So we get 12.5. So I have to work 12 and a half hours. Anytime it's a word problem, you should answer in units. So this is how many hours must you work? 12.5 hours. Okay, and that is it for your Unit 1 review.